I am Iron Man.
Hello there.
Avengers!
All right, let's get into it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about this episode, but I am actually in a pretty negative mood right now.
Yeah, it was definitely a letdown from the previous three. Like the feeling of this episode was definitely a setup episode. For the remaining two episodes, but
right? It was a filler. It was a filler episode,
which they shouldn't have in a six-part series.
There was I had a lot of so I think, oh man, it was really annoying to me because I expected it to come off of a high, right? Like I don't expect to top the first Vader Obi-Wan encounter. Like I knew we were gonna have a lull. Like I knew we had to come off that high. But I mean, this episode was practically pointless. It was practically pointless.
It was just
there was some really cool things. But like as a whole episode,
it was just a setup. It was just a filler. Like, oh, we'll break Leia out and then we'll set him up for
again,
for Vader to attack Kenobi again. Basically,
we'll break Leia out again.
Yeah,
like
again.
Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I thought she got captured in the last episode.
Yep,
fine. I thought we weren't gonna save her until the finale. Like,
that's what I thought too. Like they
build up to it now.
Exactly.
She's like it was already a one and done thing. So like I don't know. I thought, look, I've seen. Okay, I have a lot written down today. Like because
I put a good amount down too.
I've rewatched this episode 3 times.
Oh, really?
Like,
I watched it once and I was like, let me just put Miss Marvel on, see if this is any better. Which,
I liked. I think I don't know. I'm in a bitter mood. I think, which is affecting a lot. But I think I liked Miss Marvel's first episode better than Part 4 of Kenobi.
I don't want to shit on it because I still think it's going to be a fantastic rest of the series. I mean, every show is known for that filler episode. I don't think they should do a filler episode in a 6-part series because that's just a waste of an episode. I mean, it had some cool parts in it. Like, I wrote down here, you get more of a glimpse of Obi-Wan than just Ben Kenobi.
And it's very good.
Yeah.
And it's very when he's
fighting off the stormtroopers in that like hallway and like deflecting the blasts and everything. Like that was straight out of like Clone Wars, like, General Kenobi.
That was General Kenobi.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And that was probably the second best scene. It was my second favorite scene. Oh my God. Looking at I think with my hair too much. But it's probably the second best scene or favorite scene. And my favorite scene being when he actually breaks Leia out.
Yeah.
And it's that like horror moment basically where he cuts the lights and he creeps up on him and then the lightsaber and
awesome.
Which also I'm glad I got to watch one other YouTuber like look over the episode. Not sure if it really is, but kind of a shout out or homage to the Force Unleashed 2 video game, which had that in their first trailer, where Starkiller is like walking up to some stormtroopers and then like ignites his blue lightsaber and strikes them, unignites it, hides in the shadow, comes back, does it again. And that's what Obi-Wan does.
That's exactly what he did.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was on purpose, but it was very cool.
I would love to see like the real time of him doing that, like with the lights on, like, he ignites it, hits them, and then disignites it, and then sprints around, and then reignites it again and kills him. Like, I'd love to see the him just sprinting across the room. Well, it's like, that'd be pretty good.
I'm gonna take my list from the top here for a second.
Yeah.
The Reva and Leia scenes, I actually didn't dislike.
No,
I liked them a lot. I feel like Reva kind of really turned her herself down for these scenes, which makes like, again, like people saying they don't like I forget her last name, but Moses whatever as an actress.
Oh,
like, I think
something with an I think is
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think this really kind of proves that wrong, because we've talked about in our last recap that like she's just fueled on this rage and this hatred, and she's just always angry, and that's what we've seen. And this is the first time we've really seen her just talk to someone, and it's Leia, and she acts like she's never talked to a 10-year-old before, but she's not yelling at her like she is the people on Tatooine.
But I love how, like, when I first saw it, it just felt like she was playing both good cop and bad cop as an interrogator. Yes. Like, it just shows how, like, number one, how unsocial the Sith are, especially like the Inquisitors and stuff. Because I feel like at least she was born and obviously, from this scene, she was definitely one of the Jedis in Coruscant when it was attacked.
Oh yeah, which I did, by the way, rewatch episode part 1, and they not only is there a small black girl in the group, but they actually focus on her like twice.
So it's definitely
she's definitely that child.
Well, my whole theory was I thought all of the Inquisitors were those kids. That was what I thought when I watched the first episode. I was like, I bet you all those kids are the Inquisitors, and then I was like, well, probably not all the kids, maybe 1 or 2 of them. And then watching this episode, I'm like, okay, well, it's definitely just Reva. All the other ones are just hateful pieces of shit.
Yeah, definitely.
But also just like her like interrogating a 10-year-old like just shows how crazy the Empire, what crazy like lengths the Empire goes to like get information. Like they'll torture, and like they were about to poke her eyes out with that.
They were about to do the Han Solo treatment.
I was gonna say,
Vader did to her.
Wasn't that what I was gonna say? Wasn't that the thing that Vader used on Han Solo?
It looked like it, and even
just in a different room.
Actually, Vader tortured Leia in A New Hope. Different,
we just didn't
torturing
see it, really.
equipment, and we didn't see it, right?
Yeah.
But that looked like the thing that Han Solo was hooked up to in Empire.
Could have been.
At least similar equipment anyway. But like,
it also looked like the thing that I know it's in the future, but that Kylo Ren hooks Rey up to in Force Awakens.
Yeah, definitely, I could see that.
So I feel like it's like an Empire and pretty much a bad guy torture device.
Yeah. Real quick pause. Yeah. I forgot to ask at the start. I hooked up an air conditioner in my room today. Can you hear it? Like,
I can't hear it. No.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure. It's like right next to us. So.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay. So going off that, I had some mixed feelings about the Reva Leia Force mind read scene, right? Like,
yeah. Yep.
So I'm actually, again, I was in a bitter mood watching this episode the second time. Like, this didn't do it for me. And I see that scene and I'm like, oh, that's so stupid. But I'm backpedaling here a little bit. And to any like Star Wars, like, like, I don't know, like little detail reading people, like, this is what I'm going to say. And I'm going to run with this, and I'm going to save this forever. And I'm stealing this from that YouTube video I saw earlier. But I love the idea that, so the thing I heard from the YouTuber from before was that Reva couldn't break Leia's mind because she's a Skywalker. And we know the Skywalkers are just so strong in the Force that even at 10 years old, like Anakin at 10 years old could pod race and all that stuff because of the Force. At 10 years old, Leia being mentally like a genius, let's say, because she basically should already be like a senator. She can withstand Reva. I don't hate that theory. I also like the idea that the thing I thought of, and I think one of these is correct. I don't know if we'll ever find the correct answer. I do think there is some thought to why she couldn't break Reva, or why Reva couldn't break Leia. Mm-hmm. But my first thought was actually that this is the first time we're seeing Reva use this power on anyone that has access to the Force.
Yeah.
We've only seen her use it on
just regular people,
on a regular guy who doesn't have access to the Force. Now, even though Leia's 10 years old, like, that could just show how not powerful Reva is.
Yeah. My whole thing too was, wouldn't she be able to tell that she's Force sensitive? Like, wouldn't she be able to sense the Force in her while doing that?
And I think that's probably the biggest, I don't want to say plot hole, because I feel like if we go down that rabbit hole, we won't come back. But I think that is like the biggest plot hole to that scene isn't the fact that Reva can't read Leia's mind. It's that she should instantly be like,
you have the force of you. Like, yeah,
we are, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Like when I saw that scene, I was like, is she realizing that she's force sensitive? Like she's Anakin's son,
which she definitely does not in the show.
Yeah, no. And I was just like, what the hell? Like, I mean, we all know Leia's force sensitive.
Right.
She fucking floated through space in Last Jedi. So I was like, maybe she just doesn't have access to her powers yet because she doesn't realize it. So she's not really using the force. It's just kind of surrounding her.
Yeah. That's what, like, I don't dislike the scene because I said, with Anakin in episode 1, like he used the force, he just didn't know it.
Yeah.
So I'm just assuming Leia is doing the same thing here. Yeah. But so very prequelsy, but it just damn, you found something I didn't even think of. It. It's the fact that she should be like, you're a force sensitive, join our little Inquisitor
kill
club,
you, right? Yeah,
or die,
or you're dead. One thing I just thought of that as like looking at young Anakin, or not young Luke and young Leia, obviously Leia is exactly like Padme, very matter of fact of everything, wants to help people, outspoken, very political. But then you look at Luke. I mean, I know right now we haven't got a glimpse of 10-year-old Luke, but even 19, 20-year-old Luke in A New Hope, he's exactly like Anakin. He's bitchy. He's a little hormonal asshole. He's like, I just wanted to go to Tashi to pick up power converters. Like, you see the, I don't know. I just thought it popped in my head, but like you see that Anakin or Luke definitely takes after Anakin as far as, because Anakin was a little whiny bitch when he was a Padawan, in episode 2 and stuff. So
Tatooine, man, it gets to you.
Yep. But it was just a random thought.
No, I think it's a great point because Leia grows up in a senator's position, just like Padme. Like it's that nature versus nurture talk for Star Wars, essentially, is what we're saying here. In the very beginning of the episode, like the first scene, I did really like. I do believe now that Kenobi and Anakin are force linked or whatever the hell they call it. Dude, I was watching that the first time and I'm like, Brendan was he was just 100% correct.
I did. That's why I was watching it and I was like, are they just flashing back and forth between Vader and Kenobi? And then because at first I thought it was all just Kenobi because they were showing his like burnt scars and everything on his arms, and then it was flashed to Vader, but I wasn't sure at first if that was Vader or not. And then I heard the breathing. I'm like, oh, okay. So they're like, Kenobi's trying to get him out of his head. Like Kenobi's trying to get Vader out of his head, and Vader's like, I'm gonna fuck with you because I know, and not that I know where you are, but I know you're in pain, and I know you're afraid of me. Like,
I know you're not. I don't believe you're a huge fan, but do you know like Harry Potter? Like, well,
yep.
That's what it felt very much like
Harry Potter and Snape.
Harry, well, it's Harry and Voldemort are connected.
Or not Snape
tries to help him sever the connection essentially.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm thinking. Like Obi-Wan is connected to Anakin now, and he doesn't like it.
He wants to fray that connection, but Vader's just like, I'm gonna keep torturing you. Like you.
Again, though, as much as I wasn't a huge fan of this episode, again, editing was so good in that scene when you're seeing the back tank and you're like, wait, which one am I seeing?
Exactly.
You think you're seeing the burns of Obi-Wan, and then all of a sudden you see Vader. The no hand. Like,
it was awesome. Then we got a close-up glimpse of like the insert he has in his arm.
Mm-hmm. Vader is messed up for sure. But I actually, that was another gripe I kind of had. Like, we just saw Obi-Wan burn for like 5 straight minutes or whatever, and he's unconscious. And then he goes into the back to tank, and I'm like, okay, classic Star Wars Disney Plus. Yep. We're gonna go in a back to tank, gonna get those Clone Wars flashbacks, or we're gonna get some kind of maybe just flashbacks to Episode 3 and the fight or something. And he's like, he goes in, he wakes up, he's like, oh, no, I'm done here.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go get Leia. Let's go get her. Like, let's do this. What are we waiting for?
You could have made like a day lapse or something. Like, I don't know. It just felt like that. I think that scene, and again, a lot of this episode, it just feels rushed. Like, it was like they have.
I guess I'm
worried.
have a feeling they might have that might have been half of a part. They might have been like a 5-part series, and that might have been half of an episode that leads into another half of an episode. But I'm sure Disney was like, no, we got to make it, 6 parts.
Squeeze the juice.
Let's make this a whole episode, and then because I feel the next 2. I mean, I might be biting my tongue next episode, but I feel like the next 2 are going to be completely story driven.
I'm more nervous now than I have ever been about this, because I think the next 2 have so much to deliver in 2 hours. Right? Yeah. Like
they could extend the episodes. You never know. It could be like hour and a half episodes.
Yeah, which sure.
Would be awesome.
I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah.
But I like, okay, so going into that kind of stuff, like what needs to come still, like, look, I loved my little Hayden Christensen Anakin ghost on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I definitely feel like I'm getting Hayden Christensen mannerisms and Vader and all that.
Oh yeah. You can hear his voice come through a little bit of the James Earl Jones VR or AI thing.
Yeah, and the amount of publicity that went into, we brought Hayden Christensen back.
You feel like you get him.
I think we need a scene, like a full scene of him. And if I don't know where that's going to fit in now, because you had your back to tank moment where you could have
easily could have done that. Yeah, easily the most best part to slip that in.
I don't know. So if we don't get any more Anakin, I think I'm going to be. It's maybe unfairly disappointed, but like, that was marketing. Like, you shouldn't have marketed that. Anakin should have just been a cameo as of right now, right? Yeah. Like he was in one shot, not a scene. He was in a shot.
Yeah,
and that would have been an awesome cameo to not know Anakin was in at all,
and not know Hayden Christensen was coming back.
Correct.
Like, that would be cool if they. Yeah,
but they promoted it, so I need a full scene. And like, if I don't get that, I gotta like just kind of step back from it and just let that disappointment hit me.
I feel like they're gonna be like, oh, well, you did get Anakin scenes in the bank, like in the whatever, that back to tank, whatever the hell they're called. And it's like, well, no, you can see him for a split second and he's got a breathing mask on. So it could be anybody. Like,
right. I think you're correct in something else too, from our last one. And that's, you said you think that we're going to get an unmasked Vader in the Obi-Wan fight. And I think in that final fight I don't think we're going to get a flashback as of now. So I think we have to get an unmasked Vader that looks like Hayden Christensen.
Yeah. And the only thing is, I don't know because I mean, obviously that causes Vader a lot of pain to take that thing off, because that's his like his breathing apparatus. So my original thought was like, maybe he would take it off to like show Obi-Wan what he actually did to him. But I think might be like, maybe Obi-Wan strikes him and the mask falls apart or something like that, like or like at least a chunk falls off or something.
That's what I think is going to happen. I minor Rebels spoilers, but basically in a fight, Vader has that happen where it's like you see like a slash of his helmet, and it's
I've seen a clip of that. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I think. Something similar will probably happen. Maybe after that, he's like, "Fuck it," and he rips the whole thing off.
Yeah,
which would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. Or at least like because I know the thing, because it's like 2 parts on his head. It's like the neck part that goes up to his mouth. So maybe the top part will just come off and it'll just be the like and
then you could have the breather thing.
Yeah. How it was at the end of Return of the Jedi, like when him and Luke are talking.
Hey, I'm not like a stickler. Like Darth Vader is in a suit that God himself controls.
Yeah.
You tell me he can take his mask off for 15 seconds, I'll believe you.
Go right ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're really going into stuff for the next few episodes, which I have a lot to say too.
Yeah. Same here.
Do you want to keep going with that or backpedal into the episode itself?
No, I mean, there's not really much to talk about in this episode. Okay. I mean, the only things that really happened were they met up with the rebels. They broke into the.
I heard that one.
Something just fell.
Cats.
No. Just lost my train of thought. All right, go ahead.
Okay. The big thing I think the thing that made me the angriest from this episode is, once again, we get Inquisitors walking around. They ignite their lightsaber and wave it at people and yelling at people, and we still don't have an Inquisitor fight. Like, holy shit! Like, okay, so we see Obi-Wan get back into General Kenobi stuff, which is awesome. That was, like we said, that was great. That was awesome scenes. It was great action, all that stuff. Great using the Force again. Like that was so cool. But like immediately after that, when Reva yells at Kenobi on the loading dock or whatever
when they're like flying,
I'm like, this is it. This is it. This is the Reva Kenobi fight.
Yep.
And then no, they're just gonna run away. And I'm like if there's no Inquisitor fight in this whole show, they're
it's gonna
the
be pointless
lamest
for them
characters ever created.
Yeah, it would be pointless to have them in the show if they're not gonna fight. Like,
just make them like Death Troopers or Purge Troopers or whatever there's Jedi hunting stormtroopers. Why wouldn't they just be them if they're not gonna fight?
Exactly. Yeah, and like, I mean, I know we still have 2 more episodes left, but still nothing on the Grand Inquisitor, like on his status, because like obviously they can't kill him because I mean they can, but it wouldn't make sense for the animated shows and the comics and stuff because he's the Grand Inquisitor.
It actually wouldn't surprise me if the Grand Inquisitor. I kind of agree. I think we need to see him, but it also wouldn't surprise me if he's like the credit scene of the show leading to whatever spinoff. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, so okay. Retracing the train of thought. Next episode. Yo, they talked about it in the recap. They talked about it in like 3 of these 4 episodes. Qui-Gon Jinn has to show up.
He's got it.
That's gonna be a whole thing. Like Obi-Wan, basically, I assume he's gonna take all of part 5 to heal. Yeah. Like he's gonna. I think part 5 is when Qui-Gon Jinn shows up. I think he's meditating.
We're gonna get a Force ghost of him or something.
Correct.
And he's gonna give him the advice that he needs and everything. Yeah.
Here's your Force training montage, and Obi-Wan's gonna Force train montage, and it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna Rocky it, and that's gonna clutch part 6. And like it's great. But my point I'm trying to make here is I don't foresee any action in part 5.
Probably not. No. Part 6 is gonna be like. I feel like part 5 probably not going to be an extended length episode, but part 6 I feel like might be at least over an hour.
I hope. I really do.
For what they have to fill. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they can't cram all of what they have to. Because I mean, I'm guessing the whole thing is the Inquisitors and possibly Vader are going to be tracking Obi-Wan because they use the little whatever bug drone thing that Leia has as the tracker. So I'm guessing like you said, part 5 will probably be like meditation, him sort of gaining his Force strength back, and then part 6 will be Inquisitor / Vader fight.
That's what I as I'm saying it now, it doesn't even surprise me because when we go back to all the Marvel Disney Plus shows, like that's every Marvel show, every single show. The penultimate episode is the montage, get your groove going thing happening, and then the actual final episode is like 50 solid minutes of action. So that doesn't actually, I'm saying it out loud and it almost sounds better, but I just think it's weird. We're going to go from what I assume is an Obi-Wan versus Inquisitors fight to an Obi-Wan versus Vader fight. And I still think, so we've been texting about this, and so to add it to the podcast, I still think there's going to be 2 fights happening at once, Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Vader, and then someone versus the Inquisitors. However, my idea has totally shifted, and I definitely think it's going to be Reva versus the Inquisitors. I think she switches over, and she goes to help Obi-Wan instead of attack Obi-Wan, and so she's going to fight the other Inquisitors. And that's cool and all, but like, damn, I still want Obi-Wan to fight the Inquisitors. Like that would be... the hype wasn't as much as like once you introduce Vader in a trailer, you're like, okay, Vader, we need to see that fight. But the Inquisitors were there.
We've never seen a live action Inquisitor before. Exactly. Like we've seen live action Vader 5 times now. And for an extended period in a trilogy. So it's it's cool to have it's cool to have the novelty of Hayden Christensen back playing Vader and have old Ben Kenobi and Vader meet before they meet for the final time.
And I'm not, to add to that, I'm not even complaining about like we're not complaining about too much Vader. The one scene Vader has in part 4 is the second best scene or third best scene or whatever in that whole episode.
That was one of the notes I wrote down. I said this whole show, you've seen like how hateful Vader is, but like just by that scene, you can tell he does not give a shit about the Inquisitors. Like he's like, you're my pawns. You do my bidding. You don't do what I want, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like,
and it's perfect. It's a great scene to show the power balance between Vader and the Inquisitors. It's the first time we see them physically in the same room. That's not Vader storming down looking for Kenobi. You know, like this is the first time they're actually interacting in a room together.
Yeah,
and it's a great scene. But when we see the Inquisitors in every episode and they're sitting there waving around their lightsabers like they're glow sticks, like use them, freaking use them.
Yeah. Fight someone. Like,
honestly, like fight a droid.
Yeah.
Like just anything. Like it's so
I have
this
a
whole
feeling
episode was bleh.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're gonna pay it off, and it's the typical TV show episode arc. Like the setup, the first three were the setup. The middle episode is usually like the filler. Oh, we gotta go break someone out, or we gotta go do this, or we gotta get supplies or whatever. Obviously, this one was breaking out Leia, and then sort of the forming of this rebel group. But also kind of pissed off that Ice Cube's son is just some rebel guy. He's not the
just some guy.
I don't think we're gonna get a crazy extra Jedi cameo.
No.
I mean, I'd love to see Cal in the show.
Yeah,
but
I
don't think they're gonna. I thought if they're gonna bring him in, it would have been this episode.
Yeah, because they would have brought him in now to be in for the second half of the show. Like it would have been again, he's alone. Obi-Wan is alone for parts 1 to 3, and then he has so-and-so at his side for parts 4 to 6. Now it's like, I even thought of, I forget if we texted this, but I even thought of like Ahsoka. Like, what a great cameo that would be, because Ahsoka's spinoff is next year, right? Yep. 2023. We're gonna get the Ahsoka show, which I'm hyped as hell for. And like, what if we got a live action Ahsoka versus Vader fight in Obi-Wan show?
Yeah,
that would have been such a great, like, it could have been like 2 hits, but that would have been so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, whether Ahsoka, Cal Kestis, Quinlan, I think
Voss,
Quinlan Voss, like, we're not going to get anyone like that, because they would have came in part 4.
Yeah,
and it's
and I mean,
it's really just gonna. That's why I think it's definitely going to be Reva versus Inquisitors.
Yeah, I mean, to the show's credit, it is Obi-Wan's show. Like, it is, the show is called Obi-Wan Kenobi. So like, it would overshadow, bringing in Cal Kestis or one of them, especially Cal, because like, he's in the video game. It's still a popular game. The new one's coming out. So like, I feel like it would overshadow Obi-Wan, and that's all people would be talking about. So I get Disney's possible reasoning for that. So
yeah, no, I do too. I think, I don't know.
And plus, who knows if they have the rights to the character, because I mean, I know Disney owns Star Wars, but like, there's also branches of like Star Wars video games and stuff like this. So
there's definitely, it's definitely, all I know is Fallen Order is canon, and it's actually I don't remember how or where exactly, and I don't want to spoil this either, but the Inquisitor Tower that we were in part 4, which looked great, by the way. Like, I love the visual.
Did you go to it in Fallen Order?
It's in Fallen Order.
Yeah.
So like, that's the fact that was in Obi-Wan Kenobi is cool, just to see like Fallen Order in canon material that is not a video game.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you're right. And again, I'm not mad we didn't get Cal. That's not at all what's happening here. I just, it
would have been a cool little,
of course,
thing to
of
throw
course.
in. Yeah.
And I don't know, man. If we get one Inquisitor fight, I'm just going to be so disappointed in that. But I think I need to get off of that. I think we said that enough.
Oh, one thing that we forgot to bring up too for like the episode was the Jedi tomb in the bottom of what is it, Fortress Inquisitorius, or what is it called?
Yeah, let's call it the Fortress. I mean, I feel like anything more than that is just silly.
It's the floating V, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that was creepy. Like,
that was creepy.
It's like Vader's like tokens, or Vader's like trophies almost. You know what I mean? Like,
see, I disagree. I think it's supposed to be the Inquisitor's trophies, because it's their tower. Yeah,
because it's the
and
I guess
that actually,
because Vader's is on Mustafar, right?
Well, right. Vader's
Tower.
castle or
Yeah.
whatever is actually on Mustafar over the lava and all that stuff. But like, I actually had very mixed feelings about this too, and that was because of what we just talked about. I saw that and was stunned. I thought it was cool. He's like, "Yo, it's a tomb." I'm like, "Great line." Like, this is creepy. You're seeing all these dead Jedi. Apparently, and the first one that they really focus on is supposed to be a live depiction of someone from the Clone Wars who you get like once, which is kind of cool. But I didn't notice it till doing a rewatch. Anyway, I think it's supposed to be the Inquisitor's trophies. They've killed these guys, and here's their bodies. They have to be dead. I saw someone say they didn't think they were dead. No, that's if you kept all
1,000%.
There's like 100 Jedi there. If you kept them alive, the 3 Inquisitors, they're all gonna be chopped to bits in 5 seconds if something happened. But also on top of that, that just annoyed me a little bit more because again, I'm seeing all these things the Inquisitors apparently have done,
but we're not showing it in the show.
Correct. And that's so very bittersweet for me. But I to give it the surface credit it is, very cool, very cool depiction. Yes,
it was a creepy reminder of what the Empire does. Like what
I mean, trophies
what
of a Padawan.
Like that was, which would that have been a Padawan from the Jedi Temple or
I assume so because he had the training helmet on.
Yeah, so that might have been one of Vader's trophies.
Hey, you know what? Actually, shit, that's a great point. So maybe it is Vader.
Well, I mean, it's probably a mixture of both. Like probably, I'm sure,
but you're absolutely right though because if that's God, so I would love to be like editor, but like. Just seeing if that kid that we see in part 4 is one of the kids from the part 1 Order 6616. I would be curious if that's the case because then confirmed, yes, like that is a Vader trophy right there.
But I mean, it could also be just someone they found that like one of the younglings that escaped that kept their helmet on or something. You know what I mean?
Or super dark theory. Reva sees Anakin killing people in the temple
and starts.
And little baby Reva stabs this kid, and she's like, "First trophy.
See what I did for you? See what I did?"
Like Master Skywalker, I'm one of you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could see it. It's dark, but
confirmed. Is that right here? Thought of that on the spot. That's me. I'm the dark one. No, I definitely think that would be more of a Vader trophy. The tomb was cool. One other dumb thing. And this was like, see, I think another reason this episode rubbed me wrong was that there's a lot of filmmaking things that were just weird. And like another one being like Tala is the general or officer that is actually a spy.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Tala's scenes, like when she goes into the fortress and she like shuts up the guy and
that was
keeps
pretty
going.
Cool. Yeah,
very cool. When she goes to the desk and then she like kills the guy behind the other desk, like it's great. All that was great. But then, how dumb was it when she's left with the 2 stormtroopers and she slaps the one?
Yeah, like it was like
I watched that. I'm like,
I mean, I know the stormtroopers are usually like goofy, like
inadequate,
dumb soldiers, but like they're getting slapped in the face while they have a helmet on, and that stuns them. Like
and the other guy didn't immediately like grab her or shoot her. Or something.
Yeah,
like,
he has like
Like, look, I got the point. She needed to escape, but I feel like there was a better way to handle that.
Yeah.
Like even her like just ripping the gun out of one of their hands would have made me respect that a little more. Like,
not just a slap in the face and then
slap.
That was. I feel like that's definitely Disney playing into the stormtroopers are dumb, bit that's been going on for forever.
But a good depiction of that was when I didn't realize how long we were on. A good depiction of that is when Obi-Wan is hiding from them and they hear his communicator and he does the voice. That was a great way to be like, stormtroopers are fucking dumb. They go over there.
And I like that he was in that like crisis moment and he was like the Force came back to him and right in that moment to be able to. I mean, I know he's had glimpses of using the Force in the show, like when he was sort of moving the
when he was practicing.
But I mean, it showed that it's not completely gone from him. It
was there when he needed it. But I know we briefly talked about the hallway scene, but just to go back to that, like I thought it was cool. General Kenobi doing the stance. He straight up does I don't know if it's Clone Wars or just Revenge of the Sith, but the stance is the defending against the stormtrooper or the droids or whatever you want to say. Like he does the blocking and he's blocking each blaster bolt perfectly. But then like to show him like throw one at the window by accident, I thought that was a cool. Again, he's not perfect. He's shaking the rust off, but there's still some rust there, kind of a thing.
Oh yeah, yep.
And then the force to hold the window in place, that was awesome. It was awesome.
That was a cool little touch of he's still got that strength that he had as a Jedi master. It's faded over 10 years, but he's still like, it shows that the force never really leaves you, like when you're a Jedi.
Yeah,
especially at his caliber.
No, yeah, I mean he was a what are they, grandmaster? I think is what I don't know, council member, but like he's one of the best, right? And like so, I definitely thought that was a cool thing in this episode was the trickle of force being used by Obi-Wan again and again and again, and that moment was a great like conclusion to that for this episode of like, okay, he's remembering and using it enough that he's finally able to like protect themselves. And to their credit of story writing, like that makes sense then why next episode he's going to be in touch with Qui-Gon Jinn, because he's the most attached to the force than he's been in the past 10 years.
And like you've been saying, definitely going to be talking with Qui-Gon. I'm sure we'll get actual Liam Neeson, because I mean he's lent his voice in The Force Awakens, and then he said he's playing was it him that's playing in the whatever series, in the cartoon series,
Tales of the Jedi. He's confirmed to come back. Like he loves being a part of Star Wars.
Yeah,
he really does.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. It's an awesome thing to be a part of. Yeah,
like I would love it. I mean, not doubt it. No, yeah. So I guess I mean, literally since that prequel recap, I've had no doubts he shows up. Yeah, and I don't know. You said it earlier, but I could shoot myself in the foot with that one. You really could.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think it's a good bet that he'll show up, because I mean, they would why would they bring it up in I mean, I know they didn't have all this planned out when Revenge of the Sith came out, but I mean, they brought that up in the recap. Like, you can contact your old master, Qui-Gon. Like, why would they bring that up if that's not going to be something that happens in the show? So
I guess here's a counterpoint that I don't think we've talked about at all. This feels so simple, but like, what if he just reaches out to Yoda somehow?
It could be that too. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was thinking too. Like, it could be Qui-Gon or it just could be Yoda.
Be Yoda. In which case, like, would anyone really be disappointed at seeing Yoda? Like,
no, that'd be fine with me.
We haven't seen a live Yoda at all. Like, I mean, since the prequels, right? Like, technically, we saw Yoda in a great Yoda in was that The Last Jedi?
Or Last Jedi or Return, or not Return.
I don't know. One of them ones.
The Final Skywalker. What the hell is it called?
The Rise of
Skywalker. There we go.
One day we're gonna have to talk about the sequels, because I actually don't know your thoughts on that, and I kind of want to keep it in the box.
I want to rewatch them first, and then
that's even better,
because I haven't watched them in a little while.
We'll plan that. We'll be like, all right, we're gonna rewatch them like these weeks or something like that.
Yeah, and then we'll do that sounds good.
But anyway, yeah, we haven't seen like a live Yoda since Revenge of the Sith, like not puppet Yoda, not ghost Yoda, like a live Yoda. So I mean, that would be cool. Like, we even talked about last episode the Emperor, and I don't know, we could possibly see the Emperor next episode. Like, if we're gonna get Qui-Gon or Yoda hyping up Obi-Wan, like
we could get the Emperor talking with Vader. Like,
exactly.
I have a feeling like if the Emperor is talking with Vader, it might be like either I feel like the Emperor wouldn't really care about Kenobi. I feel like he'd be like, no, leave him be. Like, who the fuck cares? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, I know he'd want to kill him, but I feel like he wants Vader focused on other things. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like he needs Vader to kill Obi-Wan, but I would think the Emperor would rub it in Vader's face, like that's your failure. Alive. Like, that's your mess to clean up, and you don't have to clean it up. But
he is just an evil prick.
He's
Emperor. Like,
he's the worst.
He's just, yeah.
uh yeah, so that would be interesting. That'd be really cool. I'm looking at my list and we actually I think hit everything on mine already. Oh, the last thing, and again, this is more of a filming thing, not like my opinion on it's more of the filmmaking of the episode, but like they introduce you to these two random pilots in like one scene, and then the Wade as he dies in the final scene.
Who cares? Who is this guy? Like
it's so bad. Like I don't want to. I'm not going to blame Disney, but like whoever's writing these, it feels like they're not learning from mistakes. Like one of the biggest criticisms from the sequel trilogy, and this is just a general criticism, not saying my opinion. One of the biggest criticisms
what's her name is Rose or whatever, right?
No, I'm not even. No, I'm not. We're not. No,
okay.
Not touching that one. Not. 30,
I was like, I didn't have an issue with her. Let's just bring that out right there. I didn't have an issue with her. I just that was a popular.
No. What I was gonna say was the criticism of like Finn yelling Rey's name in episode 7. Like no spoilers, but like when Finn yells Rey's name in episode 7, I remember one of the big criticisms was like, dude, you barely know her, like you're freaking out, like all that stuff. And it's like when in Rogue One, when Andor, I think is his name, sees that what's her name is in trouble, he's like, God damn it, it's more realistic, and you're like, oh, like cool, that's like what rather and
rather than him being like, no, he's like, motherfucker, like
exactly. And that's what like it felt like we were backpedaling a bit with this whole Wade thing, because it was like, dude, like I understand that co-pilot probably really knew and liked him, but like we as an audience
we don't know who they are.
Wade.
So it like we've seen him for maybe 10 seconds and it's like we're supposed to feel bad, like
And my only thing that will kind of make this better, if this is what happens, I've been really digging in my brain and I can't think of it. I don't think in Disney canon we have a start of the rebellion, and I could see that these little pilot squads and Ice Cube's son dude, who I forget his name too, but like I could see them
being like
being the start of the rebellion, I guess. And like that's kind of what happens at the end of this series. And the reason I kind of think of that is because of the comment when they get back to the ship after Wade dies, and Tala goes, looks like your soldiers now, or something like that. And like, like that would be how a rebellion starts. And then you get Rogue One, and then you get the original trilogy. So like, I don't know. I wouldn't surprise me if that's what they're leading to, but still not the best way you could have done it.
Yeah. It's definitely got this show has definitely got Disney Plus written all over it. I mean, obviously it's on Disney Plus, but I mean, like the producing and like the writing and the pacing and everything, it's definitely got those MCU Disney Plus show feelings. This episode, like we said, kind of a letdown. And I think it's mainly because the first 3 were so good.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up.
That this one, it's not really a letdown. It was still a good episode. It was just not the same pace as the first 3.
Like, to me, I think what happened was, I mean, this is just the worst. It's like, it's the worst of a good thing, kind of is what we're getting, right? And like, I think this episode, what I don't like the most is that this is what everyone who's like a Star Wars stan who like hates Disney kind of thing, this is what they feared about this whole series, is this episode. But like, we haven't gotten this the whole series, and that's what, like,
it's only been one episode.
It's been one episode, and it's like, okay, I don't want everyone to like, oh, remember when Tala slapped a stormtrooper, or remember when Wade died, and all. Like, I hate the fact that it even dipped to that point where internet trolls can be like, oh yeah, well, it had that happen. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know what?
But it's still in general a good series. Like,
agreed.
I know we're going into it's like in the new trilogy, everyone hated The Last Jedi. Not everyone, but it was pretty split decision that most people hated The Last Jedi. That doesn't mean that the full trilogy series was bad. Yeah. It's just, one hiccup, and that's going to be in everything. I mean, there's always going to be that hiccup episode, that hiccup movie, especially in a long line of movies and a long line of
exactly
characters and history and everything. So,
And that happens with television all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, no, there are so little. I could
mean,
probably list perfect shows, but like on one hand,
even looking at The Mandalorian, there were so many boring episodes of The Mandalorian,
especially
like,
season 1.
Yeah, but that show's regarded as like the best Star Wars like thing to come out in a long time. So,
and you know what? For critically, I think this might be probably like one of the last things I got to say on this. And when I was talking to someone about this show, that
I will remain nameless,
just for his sake. But like he doesn't like it so far, right? And I felt like a lot of it was just kind of fear because of how I'm gonna backpedal a little bit real quick. We love The Mandalorian and people love Rogue One. And it's like, you don't even question it because it's these characters you've never heard of. They're brand new. And it's like, they could do whatever they want. They could kill this guy next episode. I'd be like, wow, that was crazy.
There's no attachment to it. There's no
Whereas people that criticize the sequels are like, oh, well, you're handling my childhood characters, or maybe someone that doesn't like Obi-Wan Kenobi is like, okay, you're handling my favorite character from the prequels. Like, I just don't want you to mess that up. And I think that's a fair fear. And I just really, this part 4, I didn't like it because it made me feel like that could be justified. And so I want 5 and 6 to really pick me back up.
It's definitely, it's definitely the lull episode. It's definitely the one where they have to get things sort of, like they had to get Leia back. They have to sort of form the rebels and stuff like, you know what I mean? Like it's a forming episode, but the next one definitely, like you said, is going to be like a healing training episode. And then 6 is going to be, balls to the wall fight.
Agreed. Yeah. And that's the Disney Plus formula. I can't believe I didn't even think of it before coming on the podcast today.
That's definitely there. I mean, minus like, actually, no, they did it in Loki too, but I mean, they did every Disney Plus episode.
Well, no, Loki's was reversed because
it was more starting out with
the penultimate was when they fight the cloud monster, and then the actual last episode was just a long conversation, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else for Obi-Wan? I feel pretty good.
Yeah, that's all I got right now. Yeah,
I think we're very shaken. We're both still excited. I think.
I know 5 and 6 are going to be good parts. I'm not saying this was a bad part. It was just not what I expected after watching those first 3 episodes.
I knew we were going to get a lull after fighting Vader. I didn't think it would be that low. I think it's the best summary I could say.
Still some awesome scenes, some awesome, seeing that Clone Wars pose.
Dude, and so cool.
And then,
I can't get over the chamber scene.
Oh yeah. That was awesome. But yeah, you get glimpses of General Kenobi, not just old man Ben.
Yep.
And but yeah.
Do you? I feel like for part 1 of Miss Marvel, I could do a quick like 15-20 minutes if we wanted to do that. If you can't, that's fine.
I have to get back to work.
Okay, no worries.
Sorry.
No, I'm good. I have no problems waiting.
Yeah, I got notes on it. I did quick on it. I did like the episode. Yeah. It's definitely I put it as it's Marvel Gen Z. I feel like
the first 10 minutes I paused it real quick and I was like, this is like too fast for me. Like,
it's
they're like
so much going.
I'm like, oh my god, like
I have a note. I'll tell you when we do the actual episode. But yeah, it was Marvel's has always been known for doing super fast editing. Like sometimes you can't even tell what's going on in the fight.
Aladdin.
Just yeah. So like this was definitely like very, very fast paced, but it's setting up for something pretty cool.
Yeah, and I don't dislike it at all. I think this is the first time I watched something Marvel related, and I think this is my best summary for this episode. It's the first time I watched something MCU related, and I was like, this really isn't for me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not for me.
It's not for me as a man. It's not for me as
myself to watch it. Yeah. I forced myself to watch it because I was like, I know we're going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
This was definitely one I was thinking of just not watching, but I was like, you know what? I'll watch it. It's an MCU show, but it'll tie in some point with the movies and everything. But yeah, it's definitely for a younger generation.
Oh yeah.
But it's still good.
Yeah, it's fine.
But Yeah.
All right. Cool.